Sup guys, this is desRow. Today we're going to be doing the PvT guide on rushing blink versus gasless expand turn. This build is something I've discovered when looking at Major's replays when he was playing Korean Grandmaster Protoss that was like top 50. This build takes a lot of micro to execute, so unless you want to focus on practicing your micro or you have really good micro, I don't recommend doing this build just because it's extremely hard, so it can be frustrating and you can start getting mad. But it's extremely fun to do if you feel like you want to be more aggressive. This game is between me and General on the Korean ladder. Here, nothing out of the ordinary, get a 9 pylon. I do a 11 scout nowadays against turn, because, you know, it allows you to scout this spawn and this spawn before the marine comes out, and 9 does that too, but you have less money, and 12 doesn't allow you to scout here without the marine shooting at you and killing you, and, you know. So here, gonna do 15 gas. Basically, gonna rally the probe 15 gas. The nice thing about this build is, if you really have good control, you can limit the number of medivacs. There's two ways to go about the build. You can either do an early version, which means you're gonna cut a bit of probes and try to kill the tech labs on the barracks, which will reduce the numbers of marauder, maybe deny stem, and be annoying. Or you can go for the medivac timing, which is 940, and that will reduce their number of medivacs. So here I see, like, I know General doesn't like one base with gas often, so I knew it was going to be an expand, but in doubt, just make zealot, stalker, and put some pressure, which is what I'm doing right now. If you scout them late, do zealot, stalker, pressure. If you scout them here and you're not sure, do zealot, stalker, pressure. Even if you scout no gas, do zealot, stalker, pressure. Just because if they have a delayed bunker, like, look here, right? If he doesn't see that zealot, he's not gonna. Well, no, he already started the bunker, I guess, because he knew I'm the kind of guy to make his odd. But sometimes they won't start the bunker; they'll go for 2 racks right away, and then you come here with Zealot Stalker and you kill like 5 Marines, 3 SCVs, and you know, yeah, you know. So, here, gonna do 30 nexus. That's kind of like a bad thing to do, I think. I think my nexus could be done a lot earlier. I'm gonna try to harass some of the marines, but I'm gonna back out. I think I could just cut the second stalker and do 26 nexus, but it's definitely up to you. You know, I feel more comfortable doing 30 nexus, even though it's obviously a lot late, and I could be more even by doing an earlier nexus, which I think I'm gonna try to do that these next couple of days when I practice. Chrono boost, you definitely want to chrono boost your probes, unless, you know, there's no bunker and you're not sure if there's an expansion. Then you might 2 racks or 3 racks you off one base. Then you definitely want to chrono either some units if you feel your warp gate research is too far from being completed, or your warp gate research. It all depends on, like, there's never like a set answer, it just depends on the situations. So here I've got, you know, I have to do some maths here. I'm gonna have 22 probes on minerals, so I'm gonna transfer 6, right, 6, and then I'm gonna transfer the rally point. I've said it so many times, I'm going to say it one more time. Hopefully people watch this video and never ask again, but 16 is the sweet number because it's 70% mining efficiency. We haven't noticed the timing of my twilight. We're going to look at it again. basically with this build, because I've striven away a bit from the build, I'm driven anyway. You do one gate, you put down the nexus 26 or 30, then you do 2 more gates, then you get the twilight first. If you want to hit the medivac timing and you don't want to cut too many probes, you can do like, I have the notes right here. If you want to do the medivac for the timing, you can do 630 twilight console. But since here I wanted to go for a stem in the tech lab, I'm gonna put it down a lot more early. So it really depends on what you feel like you want to do. If you want to go for medivacs or for the tech labs on the barracks. So you go 3 gates, then twilight, then you add a robo as soon as you eventually have the money. As far as the unit goes, 2 stalker outside is natural to poke back the marines. 1 stalker doesn't do much. With 2 stalkers you can poke back decently and make him really have to work for pushing out. You know, if there's only 1 stalker, it's really easy for him to push it back, but 2 stalkers is definitely annoying. Like I said, there's 2 versions of this build. There's the medivac version, and then there's the more greedy version, or the more aggressive version. The more aggressive version means you're gonna have less probes because you're gonna be spending a lot more chrono boosts on the twilight or on the blink. With this build, you always want to set up a proxy pylon like here. Let's say spawn there, then you want to pylon here. I could have put down a pylon here, but you'll see in a few seconds why it paid off to have a pylon here. Gonna keep chronoing the twilight worker count. So you can see I'm not that far ahead, just because I'm chronoing so much for that blink. I'm getting an observer out. Usually you want to chrono it, but I didn't have, or I had chrono, and by the time I had chrono I was like, well, it's already halfway done. Now, so I've got the pilot here. I'm starting to make a lot of stalkers, sending them. And you see, if I would have had the pylon on the low ground right here, that SCV would have spotted it. So it's good to be sneaky. The observer's on the way. Like I said, the medivac timing is 9:40. I'm gonna hit around 9, so it's a lot earlier than what usually happens. And I have a lot of units and not that many probes. Right now I see this. I see he already has stem, but I'm gonna go for the safe bet, which is the reactor, and then I'm gonna go for this tech lab, and then I see already a stem, so I can try to fight some, but ultimately it's going to be very hard, so I'm just gonna have to get out of there. Yeah, here I blinked everything out because I saw like those marines. I got scared, but I should have chased them, and then I'm gonna lose my observer like a noob. That wasn't good. And then I'm gonna lose another stalker here like a noob. One moment. Sorry about that. Blame nature. So here, okay, so you have like a few options with this build. There's like a crazy version that I invented where you just transition into 8 gate, which basically we're gonna see in the next game or in the next replay, because I'm gonna cover a second replay with this video. So there's 2 versions. There's the crazy version where you go 8 gate, no gas at the natural, war prism with charge, and but that's more like if you deny stim, and denying stim is really random. Like, I've played the build so many times, and sometimes they have earlier stim, sometimes they have late stim, so and sometimes you just don't kill the right add-on. So the other version I'm about to show you guys after this isn't really reliable at my level, but I'm sure you guys could have a lot of fun and make a lot of terror and rage with it, so that's why we're going to cover it. But anyway, here I went for Colossus because you had a lot of Marines, and you know, the problem with Colossus is you lack mobility, but I went Blink first, so I've got my mobility, so there's no, and I need AoE. I don't have upgrades, he's already +1. So that's why I went Colossus. Work account is quite nice right now, because he got workers for some reason at some point, but you know, we're not here to analyze him, we're here to analyze this awesome build. So basically, yeah, that's the Blink first build. 3 gate into 1 twilight into 1 robo, and you can add a 4th gate to make more stalkers. It really is up to you. And then after that, you can transition into Colossus. You can transition into Storm, because basically you have both tech pad open. You have a robo and a twilight, so you can get a Templar Archive or a robo bay. I feel like Colossus is cheaper in terms of gas, because I just feel like it's cheaper, and if you go Colossus, then you can afford more stalkers. Because like a Templar, you know, like you make like 2 Templar, that's 300 gas, but then if they don't have Storm, that gas is kind of like useless. So, you know, I don't know, I feel like Colossus are better in that situation if you go Blink Stalker first, but I'm sure you can do both. Maybe not. Anyway, here I'm gonna try. That's one thing you need to do with Blink Stalker first. It's force system or go for medivacs. I've done both. Unfortunately for me, I dropped the ball with a 7 HP medivac. You know, it was really unfortunate. Hey, thank you. It's gonna blink out. It's gonna kill us. So yeah, you have to be really careful on how you handle those stalkers. So back here, starting double forge, plus my turn, and back where he is, he's cutting his C. He's not expanding, so he wants to hurt me really hard. So if I can hold this off, I'm probably gonna win. But yeah, it's going to be a do or die situation. Here I'm trying to buy time, you know, and it's really important to have good control with the Colossus. So right now my control groups, I've got everything on 1, I've got the stalkers on 2, then robo on 4, I'm using W to warp in, I've got uncontrolled Q, I've got my double forge, so yeah, gonna micro, try to blink back, or not. I'm just mostly gonna micro the Colossus, and I'm gonna hold this off for now. In the meantime, it's really important, you know, yeah, you're fighting, yeah, it's intense, but it's important to like not like tunnel vision and like think about nothing else but the fight. You have to go back and you have to chrono boost. Like you can see, I have a bit of chrono boost here because, like, the problem is every time you chrono boost, it's always going to take the building, the nexus that's the closest to the building to chrono boost. So chrono boosting my forge, it's always going to take that nexus. So that's kind of problematic. So that's why sometimes people are like, "Oh my God, you had full chrono!" But yeah, but you know, if my double forge is at my natural, unless I do it manually, it's always going to happen like this. So either you fix it by yourself, but in a moment like this, there's probably better things to do. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, how to win situations like this, just stay calm. Add some gates at some points. You know, right now I'm on 4 gates. I got 600 minerals. That's way too much. Should have added gates sooner, really, but I was just worried about surviving at this point. So we've got 1-1's about to be done. He's 1-0 already. Here, I think, is one of the reasons he lost, because he thought he could go for my Colossus, but that didn't work out too well for him. So we're going to start 2-2. I really started charge late. I don't know what's wrong with me. Those stalkers are like veterans. Yeah, at that exact moment, I was like, oh my god, this game is done. But you know, I've got Colossus coming out. I've got more gates coming out. So. And one thing too that's really important is, you know, like 4 medivacs on the field. Yes, okay, they have no energy left, but it's really important to try to focus fire with the stalkers, the marauders, because yeah, you can A move, but if those little chubby guys don't die, like if they're not getting focus fire, they're not gonna die. If they don't die, they're gonna kite you longer, and you just, like right now, I'm gonna blink with those 2 stalkers and make sure to focus the marauders so they end up dying, you know. I could have cleaned that up if I had charge. So I've got my gates transformed. Positioning's kind of important. Like you can poke with stalkers and then make sure your stalker's always in position to attack back the Vikings. Your Colossus is not alone, too far away from the stalkers. At that point, he delayed his turn to be really aggressive, and now you realize, oh god, I've got shitty upgrades, and because he's only at 1-1, and I'm halfway done with 2-2, and he has he's cut workers, he doesn't have a turret, so he realized I can't kill him, so I have to try to expand and move on, because he couldn't kill me even though he was rallying. Well, yeah, maybe that would have changed some, but yeah, anyway. Like, he's been rallying for like 2 minutes and he hasn't been able to kill me, so he had to move on, but just going back, chronoing, almost all empty chrono. Focusing down the factory is good because it's beefy, they can land it to block your zealots. But yeah, most important thing, of course, is to kill the Vikings. Yeah, just trying to run right now to regroup. I've managed to save 1 Colossus. Something people don't do enough is when they pop Guardian Shield, they just A move. It's important to take the sentries and to send them at the end of the battle to make sure the Guardian Shield covers your zealot. That's something really important. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that full medivac was probably too painful. So yeah, that was game 1. But the build in itself is good in my opinion. It's refreshing, and if they go gasless expand, it's fun. It's a cool thing to try. Now we're gonna see the more crazy version that you guys can use in lower level leagues, because even if you don't deny stem, I don't think people are that good at kiting, and yeah. So, like I was saying, 9 pawn on scout on 11, 13 gate, or that's what I do nowadays. Wait to chrono the 13 probe, get the gate down, then chrono 13, 14, 15, get a gas. What you can do is you can rally 14 to the gas. I messed that up. I've been changing how I do my third chrono. You can do it before, like right now. I do it after the core, but it's definitely up to you. The difference, I really not sure, but a lot of Koreans do it this way, just to get an earlier word gate research, I suppose. So here, oh, this is like the bling build comes, like the bling build that I copied didn't include a zealot, so the way I'm doing it right now is just skipping the zealot. The problem is, versus good Koreans, they just block your natural with an eBay, so that's really problematic. But at lower level leagues, if they don't do that, then you can definitely skip the zealot. Just go for a stalker and poke. But if you do scout him last or whatever, it's always better to just scout with zealot stalker and just poke. Like I said, it's good to have the 2 stalkers, so you can wait outside his natural. Almost died here like a noob. Oh, I remember this. He's gonna push. He's gonna push with Marines, and I'm gonna do very poorly because that is life. And it was like really laggy on an A during that game, and like it was right after playing Idra, so like I had people like spamming me, and it was just wasn't, you know, nice. Usually old enough that kind of pressure is really easy. I don't even know why he would attempt that. I guess he knew he could abuse. Did I forget the robo? Yeah, the robo was kind of late. Like I said, the 4 gate can be good. And here I'm really gonna do the crazy version. So I'm gonna make an observer. I'm gonna make a gas, but I'm not gonna fill it up. Gonna make a lot of stalkers. So he did have stim. What the hell is wrong with that guy? He has like a really shitty army. Oh, he played greedy. Like he already had double eBay. What the? Anyway, going back on the fight that you guys just missed. I'm confused. I didn't remember the game being like that. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, you guys seen it. You just blink in the main and you go for the tech labs or the reactor. But even if you don't get stim, like I said, lower level leagues like this game, you can definitely just do that lovely warpism. You had a factory in my main, so I'm gonna add 4 more gates here for a total of 8 gates. Oh, he dropped my main at the same time. Oh, that's why he had no army, okay. He dropped my main at the same time, but I cleaned up everything. Oh yeah, I'm gonna chase, this is so sick, I'm gonna chase the factory away. Then I'm gonna pick up the 4 zealots that he forced me to make in my main, so I can drop them. Well, charge almost done. I've got my 8 gates coming. Got my pylon here to blink. I don't want people to be like, well, you know, if you make an observer, you could as well make a war prism. No, because the war prism is expensive, the observer is cheap. The war prism comes a lot later as well. So I've got charge. I didn't fix my gases yet, which is quite bad of me. That poor guy. Then he's getting assaulted in the main. He's in trouble outside his main. The gates are getting transformed. So yeah, that's a build you guys can have fun with, and it's not too complicated. It just never stops. It's really fun. You don't really have to do anything. Focusing the add-ons obviously is nice, but I mean with the zealots, like I didn't want him to have too big of a bio ball, so I made sure to regroup my zealots and try to go for the killing blow or something like that. Damn, you know. There's nothing really to commentate about. Maybe I'm too sick, but you know, I blinked down just to make sure I would attack with all of my forces, and I basically A-move. I think this is like a really easy build that like anyone can do. If we just look at the notes, it's like that's the version I did. It's basically you had 2+ gates at 510. You chrono second stalker, then you make second gas around like 540, and you get twilight, then robo, and then around 725 you this isn't exactly the same version. You don't make the immortal, but you make 1 obs, then you don't make gas. Then okay, so like right here, okay? So let's say like, or like right here. This is the build, and then after that, you just make stalkers, blink in the main, make a war prism, add 4 more gates, stop at 16, so like 42 probes. Well, I lost a couple here, but 42, 16, 16 plus 2 gases, make 8 gates, get charge, get blink, and just go rampage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really sick right now, so I don't know how my performance is, but if you have any questions, just ask in the comment section. I'll get back to anyone. For those on the stream, I'll be taking questions now about the build. It's a build I've been practicing a lot. the version versus General is more like recent version and a version of what I'd like the build to be like, because it's not gimmicky. Like this replay was really gimmicky. That's why I don't think this replay can work at my level, but any like NA or anything else can probably work, just not Korea. And it's a really fun build if you want to try to improve your micro, or if you're confident in your micro, or if you just want to be aggressive and you're tired of turtling. So thanks for watching. Peace.